Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. I thought I'd make a short Q&A video about one question in particular that was about how we deal with cold weather. I don't always carry my camera with me, so when we have things go wrong, I'm not always able to film it. I'll maybe try to do that more in the future. But I thought I'd talk about a few of the things here that in the last week or so, or last couple days, that we had break or went wrong because of cold weather. For the most part, we don't really do things a whole lot different because it gets extremely cold. It's more or less just dealing with the issues that arise from it being extremely cold. Obviously we keep the curtains on the barns closed. We'll close the doors all the way if it gets really cold. But other than that, it's just just dealing with the issues as they come up, I guess. So I'm here in our heifer barn. So we had, I believe it was this water trough right here. We had it wasn't froze up, but there was a short circuit in the heating element in that water trough. So there was a bunch of cows standing, or a bunch of calves standing around it, and they were mooing, which basically indicated to us that there was something wrong with that water trough. Either it was frozen or something else. So went over to check it out. The water was not frozen. I stuck my hand in it and got a little shock. So I replaced the heating element on that water trough. In our heifer barn here, this barn will freeze in the winter time when it gets really cold. We have heaters in these water troughs, plus we have heaters in the water troughs in our calving barn. So we always check those in the mornings when it's extremely cold to make sure none of those are froze up. And if they are, to deal with that right away before it gets to a point where it's a real pain in the butt to deal with. While I'm in our heifer barn here, so the manure in this barn will freeze, but the manure pit won't freeze, or we've never had that happen yet anyways. It wouldn't be good if it did. But our manure pump that's over there, we make sure to run that in the morning and in the night, to make sure that pump doesn't freeze up, or that the valves over there don't freeze up. So that's something we'll do if it gets below 0 degrees Fahrenheit or so. A couple of the other things that we had happen was hydraulic hose on our grapple bucket on our payloader. Hydraulic hoses get really stiff when it gets cold, and ones that move a lot, there's a bigger chance that those will break, so we had one of those. Then we had a door in our calving barn. I'll head over there and show you that in our calving barn now. So looking at this big overhead door that we come through with our tractor and feed wagon, and also with the skid steer when we push up feed. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but that shaft up there is bent on the left side. Not sure exactly what happened, but the door was open. Somebody tried to close it and it must have been stuck up there, and then the cables came loose. Then the door must have just been frozen enough to just pause up there for a second. Then the door came down with the cables off. Then at that point, it didn't come down all the way, but the wheels came off on the one side completely, and it looked like whatever happened, the left shaft got bent, so the cables must have been wrapped around that shaft, and then it came down and must have bent that cable. We were able to get it back together, put the cables back on, and it's working like it is, but that's definitely something that we'll have to replace here when it warms up a little bit, because I don't want that cable coming off with that door up in the air, and then it would really get wrecked if it drops from high up that high. So these doors will typically give us issues when it gets cold. It's not too bad yet, but you can see we got some frost buildup on these. This door, we don't have a larger rubber piece on the bottom, but well, I can show you quick. So the doors that are in our milking barns, we put like a 6 or 8 inch strip of rubber underneath them, so that the wheels on the door don't come all the way down to the floor. Because what happens in our milking barns is that barn stays above freezing, so the inside will be warm, outside is cold obviously, So we'll get a bunch of ice buildup inside the rails on the bottom, and if it's too much, the door will come down, those rollers will hit the ice, the cables will come loose, and then when you try opening up the door, if one cable shoots off, the door's crooked, and yeah, just a pain in the butt to deal with. Since we put those 8-inch rubbers on the bottom, that's actually worked fairly good. We haven't had many issues with those. Just if there's too much ice on the cable or on the door, we'll have issues with the cables just because of all that extra weight. Yeah, just a lot of other things can go wrong. That's just what we dealt with here the last few days. I'll try to film some of that stuff in the future, but I haven't been in the habit yet to carry my camera around all the time. I just have it with me when I plan to make a video. But I'll try to film some of that stuff so you guys can kind of see how we deal with the cold weather, or what we have to do when it gets extremely cold. I think that'll probably be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and should be another video out Wednesday. We'll see you then.